Hello everyone, happy full moon in Scorpio. So the full moon is on the 29th or the 30th, April 2018, depends on where you live. So let's break it all down. We're going to go through everything that I feel I want to look at with this full moon. So the full moon in Scorpio is all about change, transformation. We think of it as death because when one thing ends, it's no longer existing. So we just associate it with that. Scorpio being a water sign, we think of emotions, right? But we also think of Scorpio in astrology as the fiery, the most like powerful, more energy, you would say, of the water signs, of the three water signs. So when we look at the tarot card and we see and we talk about death and transformation, it is the death card and the number 13. And the number 13 represents upheaval and destruction. And this doesn't always have to be negative, because we associate it with loss and something that is no more. And it could be something that is actually negative, that is no more, that we don't need anymore. So when things have to end, they have to end and make room for something that is positive. So the number 13 doesn't have to be negative. And when we look at the definition for the death card, or we like to make things softer and nicer, we say transformation, because it doesn't necessarily have to be a final ending. It means end, right? It means destruction. It could mean corruption. In the reverse of it, it could mean really it's like a sleep state, right? Not like an in-between state. And we look at death, we can think of it as a great change, maybe a change to your lifestyle, or the way you view yourself, the way you view someone else, or the way you view your world. So we're looking at it at that tarot definition and the numerology definition, okay? So let's look at this now. We have Pluto and Mars in Capricorn. So this is Capricorn, and we have Pluto and Mars. Okay, we also have Saturn. So let's look at the meaning of these planets. Okay, so Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio, right? And it's all about transformation. It's about looking at the matter of things, looking below the surface, right? The subconscious forces. So you can ask yourself, what am I thinking? You can ask yourself, why am I thinking this? You can find a balance, a solution to this situation, okay? So Pluto is unpredictable planet. And since it's in retrograde, when something is in retrograde, it looks like it's moving backwards. So it doesn't look like what it truly means. So Pluto, unpredictable planet, right? We can see issues of like secrets being revealed, kind of like searching for the truth, like a detective, right? So we'll see a lot of experiences where it has to do with secrets being revealed, outbursts of secrets, revealing hidden truth behind someone or a person, right? So there's an issue of power and control when we're looking at Pluto. Pluto is about that transformation, right? And really, what is at the core level of the matter. And we think of Pluto. We think of Anubis, the Egyptian goddess of the afterlife, or the Greek goddess Hades of the underworld, right? So the ruler of things that are no more. Okay, so then now let's look at Mars, okay? And Mars is more focused on war, right? The planet of energy, desires, action, okay? And the action of animal instincts and survival, and the survival instincts of anger, of aggression, of sexual desires, right? That's what the Mars energy represents. Mars is a ruler of Aries, and Aries can benefit from growth at this time because we are in the sign right now of Taurus. We're in Taurus season. This is our sun, and our sun is in Taurus. So Taurus is all about that earth energy. We'll get into that later, of grounding, right? So we can all benefit from that energy. So the retrograding planets, what we're talking about is Pluto and Mars in Capricorn. Okay, so Mars is that planet of energy, of desires, of action, and you might feel like some of your actions aren't being perceived the way you wanted to. Maybe you're not feeling all of your energy right now, and you're putting the energy in it, but maybe you're feeling drained, you're feeling tired, or you're feeling like really things are against you, but more on the note of not so much against you, but it feels like you have to put extra work in it. So you might perceive it as, oh, things aren't working out, or you just might perceive it as, really I have to work a little bit more because there's a lot going on, or some form of energy like that. Now, when we look at the actual sign of Capricorn, where these retrogrades are happening, Capricorn is the 10th sign in the chart, and if you break down 10 to 1, it's like leadership, right? So the number 1 is leadership at work. So Capricorn is the earth sign, which represents the corporate world, like working, and they're really organized, and they can really they're at their best in a business setting, right? So they're determined, they're practical, they think of social responsibility. So and they might deal with feelings of being insecure because they're so concerned and so worried, right? So they might be too over concerned about something or feeling insecure because they really want to get things done in a particular way. And that's pretty much all earth signs, but Capricorn really feels that. They're very driven, very cautious, but they like to move slowly to make sure everything is balanced so they can reach their goal, right? So what does this mean when you have the Capricorn in retrograde, right, with Mars and Pluto? Okay, what does that mean? Okay, well, this might feel with the Capricorn energy that maybe your work and the things that you're pushing forward to is being met with things that aren't living up to your standards as far as being practical about something or being responsible about something. So you might notice where someone is not being as responsible as they should, where people are not working really towards the goal that would be the best outcome for society, or for social responsibilities. You might notice, okay, this is something that shouldn't be this way, and it's still that way. So there's like a work in progress that needs to happen, and that Capricorn energy really wants the best out of Mars and wants the best out of Pluto. So that energy really is looking at where there is underlying issues that people will ignore. That's the Pluto. It's like, what are you ignoring that's like stopping that transformation? And then Pluto is saying, okay, well, you're going to have to redo this again, right? And we'll get to Saturn in a minute. All right. So let's look at Taurus. So Taurus is the earth sign, and we are in Taurus right now. The sun, red, this little red circle, little dot, the sun, and is in Taurus right now. So it's all about grounding and the home. You think of Taurus as a homebody, but it's more like security, feeling secure in the home, prosperity, money, balance. This is all like survival mode in the physical world. It's not so much as money is more important than anything, but that there's reciprocity, there's a balance. That's an earth, the earth. You think of the earth, 5 elements in one. It's like nothing is going without. Like if you're doing something, you should feel the reciprocity for it, right? There should be a balance. There's a give and take, give and take, give and take, right? So you're in this earth mode where, if you feel like you're getting something and you're not giving something, you're still going to have that problem because you didn't do a proper trade, a proper balance, right? So when we're in this earth sign and we're having this full moon in Scorpio, this water, this is good. Earth and water, right? The earth needs water. So you think of that perfect balance, just like fire and air goes good together, earth and water goes good together. So this full moon in Scorpio is like, what do you need to end so that you can be more grounded and balanced, right? What do you need to end so that you can be grounded, balanced, and feel like, okay, there's stability here. So look at that while you're in the Taurus season, this full moon in Scorpio. So, you know, pen to paper, write these things down, pros and cons. I always say that for every full moon or every new moon, know what you want to do before that time, right? So in the full moon, this is the manifestation of everything. So on a global aspect, when we're in the full moon in Scorpio, and even days leading up to this full moon, you can see all of these things that are happening, like from the 21st of April till now, like what big stuff has happened. You know, that's like from the new moon to the full moon, all this stuff was happening during that new moon time, right? A lot of things that you didn't know about was happening, right? Undercover, right? And then boom, here's a full moon revealing everything, like bright light, spotlight, right? Okay, so let's look at the North Node. So let's look, this is Aquarius. So Aquarius is the South Node. So the South Node, Aquarius, the South Node is in Aquarius. And the South Node has to do with past life and your natural abilities and so on, right? But the North Node and the South Node, here is the North Node in Leo. And here's Leo, here's the North Node. So the North Node is where you want to go. So if you look at your birth chart, the North Node is like whatever your North Node is. If your North Node happens to be Leo, then boom, this full moon in Scorpio, you can really benefit from that, all right? And I could go into that on and on, but I'll just touch a little bit on it in a little bit. Now, the South Node is in Aquarius. So if that's in your birth chart, that's great. Okay, you can really work even more strongly with this full moon in Scorpio for letting go of things. And we're in Taurus season, so you want to look at grounding. Okay, so you want to look at what the moon is and what season you're in, what zodiac sign you're in. We're in Taurus, right? So you put it together and you figure out, what do I need to work on in my life? Because you can watch a lot of these videos and you're like, what, but you really want to focus in on how you can apply it to yourself, regardless of what the full moon or new moon is. So the North Node is calling you to your destiny, right? Your life purpose, your higher self. And it's in Leo. So when it's in Leo, Leo is all about leadership. Powerful fire sign, right? All the fire signs are, but that Leo is about getting attention. So get attention from yourself first, right? Before you can get attention from others, and then find your life purpose. So under this Scorpio moon, what do you need to let go of? What clutter or any kind of thing that you need to let go of so that you can be in that Leo driven energy in your North Node to reach your life purpose, if that's what you need to focus on. Now the South Node, you have Aquarius, the air sign that is very attached to their emotions. So it's the water bearer. So we'll think it's a water sign, but it's an air sign. So the South Node is about your past life, right? So you can look at this as habits that you really haven't let go of yet. So we're not really talking about past life. We're doing a past life regression. We're talking about past life. Like, think about habits that you might have reincarnated in, right? So what do you know is something that is a bad trait of yours, and you're like, what can I work on? What can I really let go of to really branch me into this present life, into the future? And your future could be this present moment right now, and the time that has not happened yet, right? So, and then think of your natural abilities in the South Node. What are your natural abilities? What are you really good at, right? Okay, great, work on that. But if you are holding on to anything that is, hindering you, this Aquarius is saying, hey, be like a future thinker, really step out of what's holding you back, because you are holding you back. So let's look at what's retrograding right now. The retrograding planets are going to be Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. Okay, those are the retrograding planets. So let's look at Jupiter. Jupiter is all about good luck. Okay, and Jupiter is retrograded. It's in Scorpio here, the moon's in Scorpio. So Jupiter is about good luck, fortune. It's about expansion, growth, and opportunity. And sometimes if you feel like someone is holding you back when it's retrograding, you might feel like you've been held back from growing and from opportunity, not growing fast enough, no opportunity, you can't grow. These are your feelings, right? Something is holding you back, but you got to look at yourself first and say, I got to take action to make things happen. So Jupiter works best when you take action, but when it's in retrograde, you really got to take a look, a step back and look. And again, you're in Scorpio, so the moon's in Scorpio, so you got to really let something go and don't look at it as sorrow. Look at it as like a blessing, so that when the retrograde, when the Jupiter retrograde ends July 10th, what can you do? Because it's from March 9th to July 10th. So what can you do? Work on this till July 10th, okay? So Pluto is in retrograde from the 22nd of April to the 1st of October, and that's in Capricorn. So that's dealing with your work, any kind of work issues. So it's unpredictable planet, Pluto. It's about, we were talking about secrets, right? Secrets being revealed, outbursts of secrets, revealing hidden truths about a person or something, power and control issues. So when it comes to work, so is there someone that is abusing their power in their work? That is revealed, okay? And then you also have to look at yourself, because you can't really just look at someone else and go, oh, you effed up, you messed up. But what about you? Where can you be better in your work, where you can face something that you're like, oh, I'm not really good at that, but maybe you can get an understanding of it, so that way you feel more confident, so you're not acting negatively because you're insecure about something. Yeah? Okay. So then Saturn. So let's look at Saturn now. Okay? So Saturn is in retrograde in your work, in Capricorn. You think of that as your organization, your work. So Scorpio is, so Saturn is the Lord of karma. So when it comes to work, if someone has been abusing their power, karma is going to bite them in the you know what. So Saturn is about, there's no borders when it comes to time. Like karma is going to get you. There's no time. You know, your action is your karma, and timing and cycles. So your time will come up where if you're being negative to someone or to yourself, you're going to feel that, right? So Saturn is the teacher, okay? And the teacher, you might feel like you need more guidance, you need more understanding. That's where you sit back and you really look at things that could help you. What, how do you get your help? Maybe through mantras, maybe through exercise, you build up your endorphins. Like where do you need to kind of let this all go? And Saturn is in retrograde from the 18th of April to the 6th of September. So maybe you can just like look at this, look at restrictions and limitations. So this is what Saturn does. It restricts things, but it's also good to have some kind of restrictions. So there's some kind of order and balance and limitations. So there's some kind of limitation that needs to happen, else things could be out of balance. So that has its good and its bad ways of receiving it or putting it out there. Restrictions and limitations is good and bad. Maybe you feel like some people are getting off really easily, while others are really feeling the wrath of their own actions, right? And sometimes the punishment is too much or not severe enough. Maybe no rules apply to someone, and someone else they really feel like they're getting a stiff punishment. So we're gonna see where we're not gonna actually see it, but it's going to happen where people in power are gonna say, okay, people that have the power is gonna say, okay, well, we really need to have the karma come in, the punishment for the action, but we have to make it fit that particular situation, right? And it all depends on who is in your corner to really say, okay, this is going to be too much, but you really need to own up to what you've done. Okay, so we're going to see this type of teachable moment with the Lord of Karma being Saturn. Okay, so what else we see? So for Gemini, on the chart, there was a lot of talk of this Chiron energy, right? And Venus in Gemini. So right now we want to think about communication, better communication with ourselves, with others, healing wounds. Chiron's all about healing wounds. Gemini sextiling Chiron. Okay, well, fine. So if this is for you, then really work on communication. I think everyone overall can work on communication, and really the energy of Chiron is like the wounded healer. Well, you know, what if you can't heal yourself? Right, then you really have an issue. So really looking at the self, as much as we like to kind of project and look at others, but we really need to come back to our own communication, okay? And we need to look at how things could be more in harmony with each other, and really feeling like we're putting out the best as far as our communication. So let's review the Pluto and Mars in Capricorn. This is all about power. Okay, that was very important. The North Node in Leo, okay, is very representative of leadership. And the South Node in Aquarius, it's time for you to think. And the actions that we're doing is communicating, transforming, making new pathways for ourselves after these retrograde, right? We're looking at the core matters of things. We're looking at our desires, our survival, anger, power, secrets, control, and then how can we grow from all of this, right? Because these are all life experiences, and the planets in our solar system where we are is to really figure out, okay, how does this full moon work for me, and how can I actually make it work for me? How can I find balance and the solution? So really looking at the time frame of these retrogrades and when they end, and then allowing ourselves to move forward, okay, to really work on the issues right now. And the main thing is that you're working on this right now at the full moon up until the new moon. And when the new moon comes around, you're going to set an intention. So you got to work at this, because at the full moon, things have already manifested. That's the full moon. It's in full bloom. Okay, it's manifested. So okay, I could go on and on, but I hope you guys like this video, and please leave your comments and anything that you feel you want to add to this on YouTube, and I'll also be sharing this. Hopefully this can upload on Facebook as well. All right, if not, I'll have the link. All right, peace.